They want a representative, a high-ranking representative of the McGuinty Liberal government to come down and speak with them and hear their voice. And until that happens, they're going to stay there. Now, we have some dramatic video to share with you now. This is exclusive video to CP24 that was provided to us by our viewer, Ryan Denis. This is taken at around 6:45 tonight from the 45th floor balcony of his condominium. Dramatic pictures, confrontations between police there that you can see in their yellow sweaters, bicycles being thrown at police, their own bicycles, public safety officers going into the crowd. This was all very unexpected. This crowd began their protest today at Queen's Park. They were going to disperse at around 4:30. They decided to continue. They were, their passions were high. They had social networking on their side. This is something that has been a cornerstone of these protests since the first one on January 28th. Social networking and digital dispatching. It is the domain of the young, and they have been at the center of the Toronto Tamil community protests since the first one. Now, also want to share with you now some dramatic still images from the scene taken shortly after the group converged onto the on-ramp of the Gardiner. There you can see these pictures. These images are courtesy of CP24 viewers Michael Del Rey and Yusuf Khalaf. This is a photo at around 7 o'clock of a human chain of teenage girls face to face with riot police and other people during this sit-in protest. Often when they come, when we've been at these protests, you'll see pictures that have been blown up showing some of the carnage, some of the what they call genocide that's happening in their homeland. They say they will not move until they can speak with a member of government. So once again, the pictures tell the story. We thank our viewers and our listeners for staying in touch with us, and I've been getting lots of emails and from them as well, thanking us for staying with this story and that we're providing really the only voice in terms of our audience out there so people can know how they're going to get around and whether or not they're going to be able to make transit tomorrow, make their way to work, and what's going to happen throughout the night. And there's really no place else to keep your dials and your television sets tuned to CP24. And the pictures are just unbelievable.
Look at this photograph, and if you're listening to us, what we described, we can see here thousands. It's a photograph of thousands of people from a different angle up that Spadina ramp and on the Gardiner as well. I mean, it really is a sea of people at the time when the sun was, you know, just beginning to set. We're now in darkness. We've plunged into darkness. And George, those very moving pictures of women and children and grandmothers, and the young women linking arms and facing armed and shielded police officers. There's a photograph of and Chief Bill Blair made it very clear, and I want you to hang tight, George, for a second. I'm going to move on the phone to Lauren Honickman, the host of Legal Briefs here on CP24. And Lauren, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Chief Bill Blair very clearly stating that this is unlawful and unsafe.
Yes, and you know, Ann, it's interesting. So everybody out there, our audience right now, who's watching this now, and there'll be a lot of people, Ann, that'll be looking at this and saying, you know, this is wrong. That viewer video, for example, of those shots of the bicycle being thrown, and clearly what appears to be a police officer being assaulted. All of those things that, as Chief Blair said, unlawful. Right now, from a legal liability point of view, he's got a very, very difficult decision as we look at the time here at 11:19 in the evening. Because from an omission point of view, he has to say to himself, should I be doing anything right now? What if something happens up there right now? Should I be doing anything? From the point of view in the future, when do I make the move? Because if I make the move, and somebody gets hurt or, God forbid, dies or is killed, the exposure to the police at that point will be, did we wait too long? Should we have waited longer? So his decision-making process right now is crucial. The shot that everybody's looking at right now, to the police, they would be using these words, Ann. They would be saying, the situation at this point is contained. Right now, it's contained. It's not moving further. It's not moving everywhere. Perhaps, as you and George have been discussing in depth, perhaps it'll dissipate. But when we make that move, we have to make it at a time that we can be as confident as possible that we're not exposing ourselves and exposing the safety of people later. Really,